Yeah.
Okay, so let's get on to the phone lines now. Roland Osenyako, who is former project manager, Millennium Development Authority. So, I mean, Roland, before we get into, whether MiDA whether the Millennium Compact could come back to Ghana or not, let's look at what was at stake, what we would have benefited, but for our decision to cancel the concession agreement. Many people have talked about $190 million. Was that all? What else could Ghana have benefited?
Good morning. Good morning to you, and good morning to your listeners again. It was a very interesting event that happened some few years back, and Ghana lost a lot of deal with the MCC. I don't want to go back to the nitty-gritty of what happened, because I think that we have passed beyond that stage. But I think that we must know what happened or what we have lost as a country. First, we lost on the second tranche. MCC suspended a $190 million aid package meant to support Ghana's power sector under the MCC Compact 2. Citing concern over the irregularities in the PDS deal. This was very explicit. These financial losses and missed opportunities had a significant impact on Ghana's economy and its effort to improve its energy sector infrastructure. In fact, they also contribute to the challenges faced by the government in managing PPP and attractive investment in critical sectors like the energy distribution sector. Let's not forget that we've been talking a lot about PPP, and this alone does not give confidence to investors if things like this happen. Now, highlighting on the achievements of the deal, I must mention that the MCC Compact 2 significantly increased the transmission network capacity of Ghana. By constructing two of the country's largest bulk supply points, two primary substations, and other IT investments. To be honest, this has resulted in an enormous boost to Ghana's total transmission capacity and has successfully enhanced the country's power sector. So you can imagine that if the $190 million had stayed, you have no idea what we can do with it. I was a project manager, and then I was managing about $30 million project. And looking at what I did with the $30 million, if I tell you what the remaining money would have done, it was going to be very significant.
Now talking about the $190 million, beyond the MCC's $190 million, would we have received additional funding from other donors?
Right. So, for instance, we lost confidence in the investment and in the investors all over the world. So, for instance, third compact, we lost the chance on the third compact with the MCC. And it's also another consequences of the termination of the PDS agreement. That's a potential one. A potential third compact with the MCC would have provided further support for Ghana development priorities, infrastructure projects, and economic growth initiative. However, the termination of these agreements and related challenges have underscored the importance of maintaining strong governance, transparency, and accountability in Ghana's dealing with international partners like the MCC. And this is very crucial for fostering trust and attracting investment and promoting sustainable development in the country. Of course, when I say that we lost investor confidence, there were rumors that the World Bank decided to pull out on some of the investment they will make in the energy sector. And I would like to highlight that there were rumors. Again, we also heard that the German government wanted to, through GIZ, wanted to make some contribution in the energy sector. And because of some of these things, we didn't see some of these investments, materializing. So yes, I would say that yes, we lost a lot on this. And as of now, we have about 7 countries in Africa enjoying on MCC Compact. For instance, Morocco, they have an active MCC Compact which is focusing on education and training. We have Senegal also have an active compact focusing on improving country's power sector. It's just a power compact like what we have in Ghana. Cote d'Ivoire has an active compact, improving land governance and promoting economic growth.
Okay.
Benin, Liberia, Malawi, and Zambia. But again, as it stands now, we don't have any compact in Ghana, and we lost on the regional compact as well. So you could see that there was a significant effect on the economy of the country.
So let's look forward. Is there any way back? I mean, the suggestion is that maybe difficult, but you've worked there before. Is there any way back for Ghana?
Well, I think there is. I mean, I read the article, and then I heard Alice mentioning that they don't have any immediate plans to work in Ghana, but they are always, they can always look at again to see if Ghana can come on the table. So I think that gives me a lot of confidence that we can approach MCC and then start the negotiation again. But again, it takes leadership, authentic leadership, adaptive leadership, to take a bold step and say, look, it didn't go well, it didn't end well, but what is the way forward? And to be honest, I don't think MCC will come to the table now. They will not take that initiative. And I think that is an onus on our government to take that initiative and then come to the table. And look, Ghana is MCC, baby. Trust me. If we take a bold step, I believe strongly that MCC will also come to the table. But we need leadership to make that effort. Now, if you look at the current government, I don't know. But I don't see, with their posture, I don't think that they are ready, the current regime, to start that kind of negotiation. But looking forward, if whoever is going to form the next government, being it NDC or MPP, I think that they should make sure that they will come to the table, they'll take that leadership step, and then, go to the negotiation table. But I strongly believe that NCC is willing to accept us.
All right.
But again, if you look at the two governments, the NDC and the MPP, I think that John Mahama, the NDC government signed a compact. If they form the next government, I think that they will find it easy to approach MCC, because of course they had the vision, they signed a compact. I'm not saying that MPP cannot start that kind of negotiation if Dr. Bawumia wins the election or form the next government. But again, the problem is that it probably might be very difficult. They need to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that they are committed to any reformation in the energy sector. But ultimately, I think that MCC is willing to accept us eventually.
All right. Roland Osei-Nyakun, thank you very much for joining us. Roland, former project manager, Millennium Development Authority, sharing his views on the Millennium Compact that we lost some $190 million. Raymond?
No, it's interesting development. I remember, of course, when all of this was unfolding, when the PDS issues came in, when we had plans, the original aborted arrangement that went later on in the direction of PDS, because apparently the ownership structure was not something that we favored as a country. Then subsequently, all the problems we raised with PDS and the cancellation of that arrangement and the internal squabbles and the things that became apparent after. I remember it was one evening that I got to know that the PDS had officially been cancelled. I remember then I had to pass on the information to Evans Spencer, who was on air at the time, with the information minister Kojo Oponu Nkrumah, and they had to be asked about it. I said, yes. That's why we are looking now, which spiraled into a big, if you want to call it even scandal of a sort in the Republic of Ghana. We knew the risk. We knew the difficulties in there. And we knew what we chose to do at the end of the day. Maybe someday we have a brighter and a better understanding of what we did. Some have said, and for a short period, PDS was collecting the monies that we could collect. You remember?
Yes.
In fact, it's one of the arguments that we have made that when we brought in that private participant, they were collecting the monies. There were no I will pay later, I will do what and all of that. And it appears efficiency was coming back to the front burner, and commercial losses were on the reduction rate. It's one of the arguments that have been made by the current leadership of ECG. So if a private man can collect the money, what prevents us from collecting the money too? It's not the same target groups that we are dealing with. Why is it that you're willing to pay to the government entity, but you are willing to pay to the private PDS? Then eventually we cancelled PDS and we came back to ECG. Then the story, as they say, I mean, it's well we all know what has happened over the period. It's a sign sometimes, if you want to detail this, a probe about how we do business in the Republic of Ghana, how help could come our way, but some idiosyncratic differences would make it somehow difficult for us to pursue what we said we will pursue. And I'm saying maybe in the future we have a better probe into the conduct around this particular MiDA cash and how we ended up losing out of it anyway.